Of reckoning for one of the most horrifying chapters in American history, as a U.S. president for the first time publicly commemorates the 1921 race massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 100 years ago this week, a white supremacist mob burned down a thriving Greenwood community known as Black Wall Street. An estimated 300 black residents were killed. Thousands lost their homes and businesses. President Biden meeting with survivors and their descendants. He also announced steps to narrow this country's racial wealth gap carved out through decades of systemic racism. The president's plans include fair housing enhancements, like addressing inequity in home appraisals and increasing federal contracts with small disadvantaged businesses. A day to look back, but also forward to heal the wounds of racial injustice, he said, in our country.